Ben, let's come back to you and AI.
Once men turned their thinking over to machines in the hope that this would set them free, but that only permitted other men with machines to enslave them. Let's hear from Tony Blair.
There can be a whole generation of bioweapons spawned as a result of this. There can be interference in elections. I think you can identify categories of risk fairly easily. Then you've got to decide what you actually do about that. But then, as Martha was just saying, we will want government will want business to be efficient. Business will have to employ this technology, but when it employs the technology, it will do so often by making redundant some of its workforce, potentially quite a lot of its workforce. Potentially, as I understand it, as much in white-collar industries as not. So this is the social and political implications are going to be huge.
There's a lovely moment in that video. It's from Chatham House back in September last year, I think it was. And he basically says, what we will want, and then catches himself and says, what governments will want business to do. Right? So he forgets his lines for a second. And it's like he's not calling the shots. But obviously, Blair is one of these people telling governments and businesses what to do globally. He's a big proponent of AI. He's sketched out some of the risks there. We're aware of what they are, the potential for the creation of new bioweapons, election interference, and the huge social and political implications, particularly things like mass unemployment. Let's have a look what Amazon are up to.
This is a grocery packing warehouse in the southeast of London. Folks have ordered their groceries online, and instead of people walking up and down the aisles of a traditional grocery store to pick up items, these little devices move more than 1 million items every day between them. Instead of trying to build machines that fit into a world designed for humans, this entire facility, the size of 7 football fields, is custom built to make this as efficient as possible. I cannot get across on camera just how incredibly large this whole place is.
1 million items a day. So what is that? I don't know, 10,000 jobs, 20,000 jobs gone in one warehouse in South London, right? And obviously none of this is new. Automation's been going on for a long time. We're seeing it happen with white collar jobs as well. Even the technology sector is beginning to lay people off because of AI. The snake is beginning to eat its own tail here, as they say. As I said, it's been going on for decades. Automation and digitization means that the number of employees required to generate, we can flick on to the next slide. There we go. The number of employees required to generate $1 million in revenue in the S&P 500 has fallen from 8 in the mid-80s to just over 2 today. Right? It's a huge drop in the number of employees required to do the work that was being done. And Elon Musk says quite emphatically that there will come a point when no job is needed. AI will be able to do everything. AI built and owned by people like Elon Musk, one of the men with machines that we talked about at the start. So what happens next? Let's hear from Yuval Noah Harari.
The technology will, on the one hand, make it possible to start enhancing and upgrading humans. And on the other hand, especially the rise of AI, will make more and more humans economically unnecessary, useless, and therefore also politically powerless. And the world or humanity might have, different parts of humanity might have different futures. And we might see really a process of some kind of speciation.
Speciation. The formation of new species as a result of geographic, physiological, anatomical, or behavioral factors that prevent previously interbreeding populations from breeding with each other. They actually think that they're going to elevate themselves into becoming non-human, superhuman. Right? This is the Nietzschean Übermensch on steroids, right? This is what Harari and others like him believe that they are about to become. I think Elon Musk is probably in that same category. Here's another one, Sam Altman, who is a Jewish guy, apparently, according to his Twitter profile. He's very keen for you to know that. And he runs a blog, apparently, on the internet. What could possibly go wrong? But more than that, Sam Altman is, according to Wired magazine, one of our AI overlords. Maybe that's the speciation. It's the AI overlords who are going to be the new species, because Sam Altman, if you weren't aware, is the founder of OpenAI, of ChatGPT fame. You've probably heard of it. People have been talking about it a lot for the past 12 to 18 months. It began as a non-profit, but it's since become one of the richest and fastest growing companies on earth due to a partnership with this fella, who is Satya Nadella from Microsoft, and they have embedded OpenAI technology into their core stack and introduced this new product line called Copilot, which is, for Nadella's money, the future of the business. And Elon Musk, who was one of the founding investors of OpenAI, described this as being the opposite of open. OpenAI is essentially captured now by Microsoft. Let's say you founded an organization to save the Amazon rainforest, and instead you became a lumber company, chopped down the forest and sold it. That's what he's saying that Altman has done here. So what is Altman's vision for the immediate future? Let's have a listen to him now. I hope the sound was okay for everyone, because I didn't hear that properly for some reason. But what Sam was talking about there, Mr. Altman was talking about there, was the idea that in the immediate future, we're going to be seeing one-person companies worth $1 billion. Right? So in a world of artificial intelligence, mass automation and digitization, we're going to have individuals running companies worth $1 billion. Right? What kind of world is that? What social utility is there to an organization such as this? And what mentality sees that as a desirable end state? It is absolutely psychotic. They also talked about in the video a place called Cerebral Valley, where a lot of this thinking is being developed. This is a virtual location, as you'd expect. They've got a website. You can go and look at it. It talks about all of the things that we're talking about here in very positive terms. But it's also a physical place as well. It's called Hayes Valley in central San Francisco. And this is being billed as the new hub of the future, the role that Silicon Valley used to play through the 90s and the 2000s. The real focal point of that for artificial intelligence is this one district in San Francisco, and they are building this technological future that Altman sits right at the heart of. What do we know about him? Well, the business that one of his original partners has said essentially is completely sold out and betrayed his founding principles. He says he's going to have to evolve in uncomfortable ways. He talked about to Axios recently about how they're going to have to do things which sit outside the normal ethical codes and understanding of right and wrong. You can see this in practice. In the manner in which they approach copyright legislation. So they submitted some evidence to the House of Lords recently saying that because copyright today covers virtually every sort of human expression, including blog posts, photographs, forum posts, scraps of software code, and government documents, it would be impossible to train today's leading AI models without using copyrighted materials. So therefore, OpenAI, ChatGPT, Sam Altman sees himself and his company as sitting outside of the restrictions placed upon everybody else, and he is only just getting warmed up because he's talking about raising a $7 trillion fund to build this new AI ecosystem within which he, as the founder and operator of that fund, this is absolutely unprecedented scale of venture capital, private equity investment. He individually will be handpicking members of his elite new species of men with machines. And this is the future that they are attempting to take us into.
Ben, thank you. We're going to have a lot to talk about in Extra because that's I want to touch on that particular topic as well.